how do you, there is always this sense of prolonged separation amongst the people in the army that are, serving at the border. So how do you deal with such prolonged separation of these people from their family?
Army people get about almost 3 months of a leave in a year, and this they can split into numerous times, which they can go home and meet their families periodically. So that is one way which the army does by trying to reduce the separation period. And secondly, the separate where the people are separate from the families are places which are called field postings, where families are not allowed, like right on the battlefield, for example,
Mhm.
or Siachen Glacier, for
Yes,
example.
yes.
So these postings are alternated with what are called as peace postings, where people are allowed to stay with their families. So
Oh,
this is how. So it is not a prolonged 20-year separation or something like that. It's for 2 years, and again they go back to their families and stay with their families. And even in those 2 years, they are given leave in a liberal manner.
okay. Can you tell us more about the, as you mentioned, Siachen Glacier? So there, the conditions are actually very dangerous and they're constantly stressful. So in such situations, how do you deal with them, and how do you, you know, make sure that they have everything that they need?
See, people going to Siachen Glacier are actually prepared mentally.
Hmm?
They know that they are going in advance, and their unit starts preparing them mentally, briefing them on what all climatic conditions they have to face, what precautions they have to take. And before going to Siachen, there's something called as a Siachen base camp, where they spend a lot of time getting themselves acclimatized to the condition. And thirdly, the period in Siachen Glacier is limited to only 90 days. Nobody is cared for more than 90 days because it is very, very difficult to stay beyond that. As you know, the temperatures can go up to minus 60 degrees centigrade. There are very severe storms and blizzards. In fact, many of our people die due to the harsh weather rather than to
Mhm.
enemy bullets. So this is how we try to prepare the soldiers for going to Siachen.
I mean, for you, when you say 90 days, it sounds very less for you, but I am hearing it like 90 days in that extreme climate is, I cannot imagine how anyone can be, accustomed to it, or, just be ready that, yes, I am going to go there and stay there for 90 days. Of course, there would be harsh conditions, as you said. Are there any typical, medical conditions or physical, whatever the harsh climate acts upon these soldiers? What are the typical things that happen to them? Some,
The danger is of cold injuries and frostbite. But for
yes.
that, they have got adequate protection. And secondly, what happens is that most of these people they lose their appetite.
Hmm.
And I forgot to mention that whenever the people go to Siachen, they're always accompanied by a doctor and a medical team. A doctor also
Okay.
equally faces the same hazards which they face on top.
Right, right.
And their rations are very, very generous. A lot of fruit juices, chocolates, but unfortunately, they are not able to eat chocolates because in that cold climate, chocolate becomes as hard as steel. So now they are trying to give them pre-cooked food which they can just warm somehow and eat, like dal and rice mixed together, something like
Mm-hmm.
that,
So they have to eat that every day.
every day. Yeah.
Okay. And in such harsh conditions, how do all the people, maintain the consistent level of productivity that whatever mission they are sent on there? How do they, where do they get the motivation from?
See, the motivation is the sense of pride for the country.
Yes,
They
definitely.
know that they know that if we don't protect the Siachen glacier, China will get an easy access to our country, and both China and Pakistan can, block our routes to Kargil and other transportation routes. So that is the motivation of protecting our country. And this is drilled into our army people right from the beginning.
So you said that, sometimes people are posted at a liberal place, sometimes it is harsh conditions. So as a psychiatrist, have you seen the people getting affected by these, constant changes of climate, or is it affecting their modern day-to-day life?
Surprisingly, as a psychiatrist, I haven't seen any of such conditions because of, what our army troops have is a camaraderie. They eat together, they sleep together, they have their morning games to PT together, they work together, evening games also together. All their functions are together. So they are basically like brothers working together, and that gives them a sense of resilience.
Mhm.
And they know that if something happens to me, my unit or my colleagues will take care of me, my family. And because of that, they have this feeling of resilience, which makes them psychologically very strong and immune from such dangers which we can easily fall prey to.
That is actually true. I mean, the constant stimulus from the environment that they have to be has actually made them super strong that we can't even imagine, mentally and physically, of course. But I would also like to talk about this particular thing called as PTSD, post traumatic stress.
Stress.
Yes. So, have you come across this condition with any of the soldiers? Because there are many articles that say that soldiers have the maximum levels of PTSD because of the traumatic events that happened during the wars.
See, let me begin by telling you that Indian Army is at a constant state of war right since 1947.
Yes.
Thanks to our enemies across the border, keep on creating trouble, either in small or big events like insurgencies, terror attacks, and all that. Okay, but surprisingly, in my so many years of service, and my colleagues also will corroborate, I have seen only one case of PTSD. And this I told you is because of the camaraderie. I'll describe you this case. This happened in Jammu and Kashmir. This soldier, along with a group of his colleagues, was going by a small truck to some destination, and there was a bomb blast, an IED blast. The whole truck toppled, and the militants who were waiting in the nearby, they started firing. Everybody was killed except this man, and this man was saved because the truck had toppled on top of him. And he lay there for about 4 to 6 hours. The militants thought everybody was dead, and so they left him. And finally, after 4 to 5 hours, when the nearest army battalion came to know of such an incident, they rushed troops to the site. He was evacuated and found to be alive. And he was the one who could not get, you know, rid of this memory. He kept on having bad dreams. This attack kept on coming in his mind. And he kept on wondering why I survived, why the other people got killed.
Was it the survival's guilt that he got because of?
No, it was not a survivor's guilt, but he felt that I could have done something to save him, something like
Mhm.
that. So these are the, and this kept on coming to him as recurring nightmares and all. We treated him, he became absolutely all right. But this is a very, very rare instance. Like I said, our camaraderie among our troops. And secondly, one good big factor is that most of our troops, all of our troops, always have their religious festivals, celebrations together. Whether it is Eid, whether it is Diwali, whether
Oh,
it is Onam, or whatever it is.
no
And that,
discrimination.
no discount, Christmas, whatever it is. So because of that, they have a sense of bonding, and that bonding prevents them from getting into conditions like PTSD, which is very common in Western countries like US and all.
Yes, yes. It is very common in the Western countries, yes.
Western.
But as I heard from all the things that Indian Army does specifically to avoid such scenarios, it is actually amazing to this thing that I didn't get the term. Can you tell me again the thing that
Camaraderie.
sorry?
Camaraderie.
Okay,
Camaraderie. Camaraderie means
so they
a bonding, a brotherhood, a friendship.
so everything that they do is going to be together, be it
Yeah.
the worst part or the best part. They are just going to be together till the end. That is
It's
actually
like
amazing.
if you're staying with your brother, you know that you and your brother may fight, but you have to be
Yes,
together all the
yes.
time, and you are there for each other. If somebody gets into a problem, you will help your brother, and he
There
will
is
help you.
a there is a
Something like that.
feeling of belonging that even
Belong.
something happens that this person is going to be there.
Yes.
Wow, that is actually amazing to hear. So like when you're posted somewhere as a psychiatrist, so in any particular region, how open are the military people towards coming and talking to you, or towards mental health care, that they think that there is a need for it or not? So how open are they towards the entire idea of this?
Our troops have a very macho image of themselves,
Yeah,
and so even if they have a mental health problem, they are very reluctant to come and bring forth because they see it as a sign of weakness. This
weakness.
is
Yeah.
this is unfortunate because this is all over in all the society also. So what the army does is that we organize regular lectures on stress, how to handle stress, how to manage stress, and the common problems like say, anxiety, how to deal with that. In addition, our troops are also exposed to yoga and other such measures which can help them to reduce their own stress. And they are also encouraged, in spite of that, in case there's a problem, they're always encouraged to go to the psychiatrist. And many times the psychiatrist also goes around the various formations, various units. He gives lectures to the people on how to handle minor psychological problems. And in many family stations also, the army has appointed counselors, psychologists who are available to counsel the people in case they need.
So that is the entire medical community is actually taking a lot of effort, I think, in providing the best care that they can towards the soldiers, for helping them with managing stress, because we know that they won't show their weakness, right? So
Correct.
I think we are the ones who are supposed to understand that they are humans too. They can go through stress, they can have those feelings, but they just don't show it because they are portraying India. So that is a very big thing for them.
And one more thing which I may tell you is that, which I told you earlier, is giving liberal leave. Suppose somebody is feeling stressed because of some problem in the family, then he's immediately given leave. He can go and sort out his issues.
Mm-hmm.
And after a hard posting, when the sailors come down, say some troops come down from Siachen or something, there are something called as rest and recuperation camps, where they just chill out for 3 4 days before they go home, you know, and then they are allowed to go home, something like that. So these things are also there to alleviate their stress.
That is amazing. So I think we all should, take this chance today to just respect the resilience of our soldiers that are constantly there for us. Because of them, today we can celebrate our Republic Day so
So,
safely and with great pride that we have in our hearts for them. So let's wish all of them a very happy Republic Day. So, so would you like to say something about the Republic Day to our audience?
no, what I would like to say something, if you don't mind, is I would like to say something about mental health to our young audience.
Yes, definitely. Please address the
If
issue.
you don't mind, because I think that
Yes,
is more
never. No,
important.
no.
What I have seen is over a period of time is that our young people are much more intelligent, much more capable than us, much more savvy, much more smarter. But somehow, if you don't mind, I feel that they are little weak psychologically. They don't have that resilience, that tolerance, that capacity, and to handle stress. So, what I would sincerely recommend our young students is that something which is become a big rage in the US. In fact, the US is doing that to their army troops also before they send them to the battle. The US has copied a technique from India which they call mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
They call it mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is nothing but vipassana. It is nothing
Oh,
but living in the present moment. They don't want to call it vipassana, they have called it mindfulness.
that's what they have been doing forever.
Yeah, for so many years, and there's so many papers, articles. So I would request, sincerely plead, in fact, with my younger people, that
Mm-hmm.
please do a little bit of vipassana or mindfulness. Try to, like you keep your bodies fit. You want to look good. You want to have a slim body, a muscular body. Try to keep your mind also slim and muscular. And this you
That
can
is
only do by mindfulness. And that's why, unfortunately, I feel so many of our young people are losing their lives due to suicide. I feel very sad and pained. But this they can prevent if they do mindfulness. That is my humble plea and request to all the young audience here.
that is an amazing message from you, sir. Like, definitely, people should understand the importance of meditation. They think that, what is 5 minutes or 10 minutes of meditation is going to do to me. It's just, oh, I'll just fall asleep. These are the ideas of meditation for people, but they don't understand how great impact can 15 minutes of just living in the present can do wonders to their entire body, not just their mental health but also their physical health, because if your mental health is not okay, I don't think the physical health can be at the levels that you want it to be.
And not only that, if they do this sort of practice, then they will find that their brain becomes sharper. They
Yes,
are able to study better. They are able to perform well in their exams, perform well in their interviews. And overall, they'll feel much more calmer, confident, and composed.
yes,
In fact,
yes.
another thing which disturbs me is many of our young people have broken relationships which they are not able to handle. I'm very sorry to say this, but many of our young people are not able to sustain a marriage, which is causing a great stress in our society today. Because the children who are born, they have to face separated parents, they are brought by single parents. Those children will become into psychological malady patients themselves when they grow up. So this is very important for young boys and girls today to take mindfulness as part of their daily routine, so that they learn to handle stress, learn to handle how to stay together, and how to be happy and how to bring up happy families and happy children. Because I feel that if mental health starts with an individual, if we are
Yes.
healthy, our family is healthy, then our country can be healthy. If we are ourselves not healthy, the family is unhealthy, the society will become ill, and the country obviously can't succeed, can't do well.